in the last 24 hours. We've got some more news when it comes to what's going on with Fani Willis and her misconduct, not only during the Trump trial, but everything leading up to that and everything after. So we're going to check out the news and see what they're saying over at Fox 5 Atlanta. Fani Willis is now being forced to testify. She's been subpoenaed and she will appear in court. If she doesn't appear again, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Check this out from Fox 5 in Atlanta.
A state Senate committee investigating Fulton County DA Fani Willis says it will reissue a subpoena compelling her to testify. The Senate Special Committee looking into allegations of misconduct against Willis during her investigation in the 2020 Trump election case. Now, during Thursday's hearing, committee chair Bill Cowsert said he will make every effort to have DA Willis testify during this legislative session.
We'll see.
Willis defied a subpoena to testify last year, arguing the committee doesn't have the authority to subpoena her.
George.
So basically, she said, I'm going to do whatever I want to. And we actually covered that live. If y'all missed it, you can go back and watch the video where we covered it. Fani Willis basically saying she's going to do whatever she wants to. She didn't show up. They had the committee. They were there waiting for her. They went to check the door. She was gone. She did not show up. And she said, I don't care what y'all say. I don't have to. So here's what happened leading up to that and why she was able to be subpoenaed from Fox 5 in Atlanta.
A judge rules Fulton
Amazing.
County District Attorney Fani Willis can be subpoenaed by the state Senate. This comes as they continue to investigate possible misconduct during her prosecution of President-elect Donald Trump. Fox 5's Eric Perry is at the live desk on the story. Eric, what is the latest on this development?
Yeah, Christine, this comes just weeks after a state appeals court removed Willis from the Georgia election interference case against President-elect Trump. Now, DA Willis has until January 13th to submit arguments before a final order is ruled. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis is back in the spotlight after Superior Court Judge Shakira Ingram ruled she can face a subpoena by the Georgia State Senate.
And shout out to Judge Ingram. The Republican-led
Senate committee is looking into whether she engaged in misconduct during her prosecution of President-elect Donald Trump.
They are the head of all prosecutions in their county. So therefore, no one should be able to question them, right? Well, the Georgia Senate disagrees with that.
Trial attorney and political analyst Joshua Schiffer breaks down the decision. According to the ruling, Willis has until January 13th to submit arguments over whether the subpoenas require her to provide confidential information. Judge Ingram will then issue a final order saying what Willis has to respond to.
Prosecutors are used to strong independence and the exclusive duties and privileges of their position.
Former Georgia Governor Roy Barnes represents Willis in the case and says they want the ruling overturned and they plan to appeal. This also comes after a 2-1 ruling by the State of Appeals Court earlier this month, removing Willis from the Georgia election interference case against President-elect Trump, citing, quote, an appearance of impropriety. Willis's office is asking the Georgia Supreme Court to review that decision. This fight going back months. The Senate committee hoped to question Willis back in September, but she skipped that meeting. The committee turned to Judge Ingram in October, asking for Willis to comply with the subpoenas. Schiffer says don't expect anything major to happen soon.
What this really does is moves the ball forward to an eventual date where Fani Willis will either have to show up and testify and bring some information.
And again, she's just continuing to push back against doing the right thing. We saw she already lost a lawsuit to the Judicial Watch because she wouldn't even comply to a simple open records request. I mean, she is just continuing to defy. And I haven't covered it yet, but there's so many dominoes that are falling here in Fulton County and across Atlanta. I mean, we've got a mayor getting kicked out of his office. We've got so many people resigning. We're going to get to that at a later date, probably coming up next week. But y'all stay tuned for that because there's a lot of crazy stuff going on here in Fulton County.
We know there's a lot to keep track of here, and here's something else to keep in mind. The current Georgia legislative term ends when new lawmakers are sworn in for their new term. Republican State Senator Greg Dolezal of Cumming says he plans to file to reestablish this committee at the beginning of the 2025 legislative session. We've reached out to the district attorney's office. We're waiting to hear back. But again, just something else adding on for her office there. At the live desk, I'm Eric Perry, Fox 5 News.
Thank you, Eric.
All right, shout out to Eric Perry. So let's get into this article and we'll actually break down why they're subpoenaing Fani Willis and what she may actually have to provide to them once she shows, if she shows up. Shout out to, again, News 2 here in Atlanta. They say investigative committee looking into Fani Willis's conduct issues a subpoena for her to testify. So what's going on? Channel 2 Action News has obtained a subpoena issued by Senator Bill Calsert's Special Investigative Committee ordering Fulton County's District Attorney Fani Willis to come and testify. They already tried this once, and we heard from Bill before during that hearing. That committee met on Thursday, but Willis was not there. Willis has fought that in court insists the committee did not have the constitutional authority to issue that subpoena, which they did. If she's not willing to come and explain her conduct or misconduct, we know it's misconduct, then we will subpoena her and ask her to come or require her to come, Bill says in a quote from Channel News 2's Richard Elliott. Willis lost the fight in the Superior Court, but her appeal is still pending before the Georgia Supreme Court. I think she's going to lose this again. Georgia Supreme Court has seen how everything has went from the way the Trump trial was handled to YSL, on and on and on. The DA's office has had so many missteps. There's no way they're going to bat an eye when it comes to allowing and forcing Fani Willis to provide this committee with what they need. Bill's committee is investigating Willis's prosecution of now President Donald Trump and others. He specifically wants to look into her personal relationship with former special prosecutor Nathan Wade. We know what was going on there. Wade stepped down after a judge ordered him to. I regret that my private matter became the focal point of this very important prosecution. Stop it, Fani. Fani and Wade told ABC News. Willis and others call Bill's investigation nothing more than a witch hunt, which is interesting because they were calling Donald Trump's entire indictment that. They called a witch hunt since his committee has no real authority to punish her other than potentially affecting some of her funding. So she was asking for funding as well. And, you know, we went through this too. She said she was going to sue. She was going to sue Pitts if she didn't get the funding that she needed to run her office correctly. So she said she was going to go after the Board of Commissioners. If she didn't get the funding that she needed, the Board of Commissioners says, hey, we don't care. This is what we have. Do what you have to do. We haven't seen a lawsuit come out from Fani Willis yet, but that recently happened over the last couple of weeks. Now they're saying that her being subpoenaed may affect and put a hold on some of the possible funding that she was going to receive from the Board of Commissioners. It's just a mess, man. She told Elliott months ago that she had no plans to testify. I will not appear to anything that is unlawful, and I have not broken the law in any way, Willis said. She did not testify on Thursday. It could have just been a reorganizational hearing for the new legislative session. So let me know what y'all think about this by Fani Willis. Is she going to be held accountable? Obviously, we've seen the court. One court has decided that she needs to appear, that she should appear. Now we have to wait for the Georgia Supreme Court and see what they say when it comes to Fani showing up for court, which you think would be simple. And if you don't have anything to hide, why wouldn't you show up? Either way, let me know what y'all think in the comments. Wow.